Hey, there it is. Put on the. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Finally, live. Our fault, not NikkiB's. We're setting up here. Anyway, welcome to another Facebook Live with the lovely NikkiB from Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, I like that. I'm gonna steal that. All right, Nikki. I know how wonderful you are and how awesome of a salesperson you are. But I would like you to take a few moments and explain to these people who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing this, please.
Well, I'm NikkiB, affectionately known as NikkiB, but I am Nikki Bernstein. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I work in Scottsdale, Arizona. Actually, I work in Phoenix Metro. I've been doing real estate pretty much all of my life, but with a license since 2007 and was in commercial real estate from 2007 until 2016 and then residential from late 2016 to today. I've been with Berkshire for now 6 whole years.
I remember you. I remember when you came over. It was a blast.
Yes, yes. It
The
was
lovely
many years
Scottsdale.
ago. I can't believe we're here now, right?
That's right. That's right. And you're killing it and rocking and rolling. So tell us a little bit about, okay, so I know you always finish up there in the top of your office and in the whole Arizona market, but give them a little idea, like what your production level, what your goal is, all that good stuff, so they get a little idea of who you are.
Well, Rick, you're sweet to say that you're always in the top and all of these things, but life has a way of handing you sometimes lemons. And
Hmm.
so actually more along the lines of what I want to talk about is when lemons come, because last year I did get hit pretty hard crosswise with a family emergency that actually took me out. And and thank God everything is okay. My mom was very ill and she is back and in force, but I needed to step away for a couple of months,
Yeah.
and that kind of had a cascading effect on my practice. So I can't 100% guarantee that we're going to end up in the top 25 or so this coming year, because I did take a step back. And we can talk actually a little bit about the impact of systems, and we can talk about the impact of stepping away and really having a strong client base. And that's where I think the NikkiB Group's strength is in having a strong client base and strong client relationships. That's our specialty.
Right. Yeah. And life does have a way of throwing you things, and like you said, you handled it well. It did take a lot of your time and so forth. But even that being said, you're still up there as far as production goes. You guys are still having a good year, and you had a great year the year before. So I mean, I'm just saying that as far as it goes, I consider you a top producer because you're always producing at a high level, even when life throws you a curveball.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for that. It's very kind of you to say, but the step back has been impactful, and it's important to recognize how that storm has been braved. So, we're here, we're braving,
And even
and
even before that, you
we're on
had
the safe path.
even before that, you had a situation with your father. You had to jump in, and then your mother, which was even worse. You had to jump in.
Yeah,
So
the
you've
same
been
generation. That's what I am. I've got kids in school, and I've got aging parents.
right, and you're still banging it out. No, it's good. It's always a joy to talk to you too, because you always, with everything even going on, you have a positive attitude, energy, enthusiasm. You also mentioned your systems. You got a dynamite. You got some good people working for you there too. All
I
right.
do. I
Yeah.
do.
Tell me
I
a little
do.
bit about that. Tell me a little about your team and so forth.
Okay, so my team is very small. I have John Clance. He and I came over to Berkshire together. I as the lead, and he as a partner. And John Clance and I work together hand in hand quite often. And we have Nadine as my assistant and also as an agent. She is probably one of the most fastidious people you will meet, and no, you cannot steal her. Please don't, because I love her on a personal level, and she really does keep me in check. You would be surprised. She is a very minute, little, elegant person who keeps me in line, and that's what I hired her for. Is that basically I needed someone who could keep me in line, because I am a wild person and I get a lot of ideas and I go in a lot of different directions at a lot of time. And so, when people do the disc programming and all of that stuff, which I don't know I necessarily believe in, only because it takes 7,000 hours to complete. And then it takes an expert to analyze the data. What I know is that I am frenetic. And when, I'm going to step aside for a second. Look at how organized my desk area is.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's not true because, oh goodness, how rude.
Because we can't see it.
Because it's all over on the other side. I have totally moved everything around and made it look very nice. But the fact of the matter is that Nadine is the organized person in my
Yeah.
life. She keeps me in check. So she is a huge asset to my business.
Yes, and I'm going to help you out by just saying, I know you're expressive. By doing this my whole life, I know you're expressive, and I know Nadine. Nadine, on the other hand, has a good analytical streak, which keeps you to your feet to the fire, so to speak, and keeps you organized. She also comes to my success series and asks great questions, as you do also as well. So you can always tell. I can always tell.
Yeah, as good of questions as Nadine. Nadine has a secret life as an attorney, I think.
Yes. She asks very good questions, clarifying questions. You can always tell by the questions someone asks whether they're clarifying or looking to doubt what you're saying. And she definitely asks clarifying questions so she can apply.
Yeah. Without question. And she brings a lot to the table as well. And that's also one of the secrets of my success, is that we have a collaborative office.
Right.
And I think that asking questions to colleagues when you're curious about it, or if you have an issue, bringing that issue to colleagues, and they can kind of look at it from a different perspective and say, well, have you thought about it this way? And I think that, I don't know if this was part of the question, but one of my strengths is being so open-minded to looking at things in a different way. So if someone suggests something, have you looked, and it's as simple as looking at the contract and reading it and going, well, wait a minute. I didn't realize that. While I know all of the elements of the contract at this point, pretty much like the back of my hand, when I have questions, that's where I go. I go looking for the answer and doing my best to find the answer and then talking about it. Mm-hmm. Also, Charlie is a great resource in our office. So I'm lucky to walk right down the hallway when I have questions and just talk about ideas of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, or just learn from Charlie. So
Charlie McLean, always an agent favorite in that office and all the agents in Arizona. He goes to bat and he'll help you out big time. Yeah, he's a great guy. And he knows everybody.
I know. Well, it was interesting. Can I tell a little story for a second?
You can tell a little story. This is your Facebook Live.
Okay. So I went to an event last night, and it was hosted by the title company I use most often. And it was great. And I sat next to an agent who seemed really sharp and very gung-ho, very excited. And he's with an agency that might sound like Shmei Namnu, and might have sounded like this. And he shook hands with another man, and they introduced themselves to each other. And he said, "Oh my gosh, I've been texting you all day." And and he kind of leans over to me and he goes, "Yeah, that's my designated broker." I said,
"Wow,
you've never met him before?" Oh yeah, no. He and I have been texting all day. I have an issue, and la 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 la. And I was shocked, and I was so touched because only earlier that day I was going to go speak to accounting just to talk about an issue that we needed to address. And on my way in, there's Charlie working on his computer, and I say, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" Or we say hi to each other, and then he kind of fills me in on what he's working on. He doesn't disclose names because Charlie's always working on legal situations. And I get the opportunity to learn what it is he's doing and why it is he's stuck in the middle of it, right? Because if Charlie's in the middle of it, it's not great. So I get to learn while he's telling me and parsing out. And then if something's coming up in my practice, I say, well, it's funny. I have an issue that's coming up. Might as well toss it to you right now. Poof, I toss it to him. I mean, the accessibility is second to none, and it is amazing. And it really it's something I value exponentially in our brokerage.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and Charlie's been here. I've been here for 9 years now. He's been here forever. He was, it was my first time in Arizona. I met Charlie, and the agents. First off, if he's going to bat for you, if you're involved with him, yeah, it's an issue. But 9 out of 10 times, he's going to go to bat and help you fix it. And hopefully, you didn't do anything mischievously. I know you wouldn't, but some
Yeah.
agents, you never know, right? So he's in there to go to bat for you and help you out. And the great thing about Charlie is not only is he very educated, he comes from an education background, he was a teacher before,
Yes.
and he also knows everybody in town, which is completely helpful.
Yes, he's an amazing guy. So there you go. Yay,
Cool.
Charlie. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie McLean. Good job, man. And has one of the nicest wives on the planet too. Let's face it, Nancy's the best.
Yes. Yes.
All right, cool. So good. There's our little plug for Charlie. I love it.
Right, we can hashtag Charlie.
All right, so you said something, and I want to dig a little deeper on it, and that is, how do you maintain, because you're an independent contractor, solo entrepreneur, in business for yourself, but as I like to say, not by yourself with this company, and then you have a curveball, a big family situation hits you. So how do you handle that and still keep your business going at the same time?
Well, there are a couple things. Number one, when it comes to business practice in general, I have a PLLC and I utilize a payroll company. So all of my earnings go into a business bank account. And from that business bank account, I actually take a W-2.
Take a
So
salary. I
I
used to do the same thing. I love that. It's such a great idea.
So I live on a fixed income and I pay myself a salary.
Right.
And sure, when I need more money, I'll draw and I'll give myself a distribution. But in general, when the times were exceptionally high, that bank account was quite robust. And so I had a very good amount of money in it to support me throughout the bad time, because I don't take my money in and immediately spend it. It goes into the bank account. Excuse me, hiccups.
You're not supposed to do shots before we do this,
Yeah, sorry. So it gave me time to not so much step away, because really what happened during the course of my mother's illness is I still ran deals that were already in the pipeline. It's just that my pipeline dried up because I
Right.
wasn't working my pipeline. And so let that be a lesson, is that it's not about the deals you're closing today. It's about the relationships you're making today for the deals that you can close tomorrow. And so, the impact to me is actually being felt right now. It has taken a full year for me to feel the impact. And my mother was ill for a number of months, and I had to go sub in and work with and for my dad for a period of time while he was tending to my mother very specifically and daily. And so with that, getting back on the horse and going through all the feelings that I was feeling, my mother, like I said, is back in action, and she is well, but it definitely has been a challenge for me getting back on task and doing that. And COVID was no favor to anybody except in terms of making money, but I think in terms of creating bad habits, it did wonders.
Mm.
Everyone, I think that there is a pajama nation involved, and going to the office has become no longer the norm. And for me, I find that my practice really does flourish in the office environment, because what do I do at an office? I work.
Good
What do I
work.
do at home? Laundry.
Laundry and pet your two gigantic dogs.
Yes, and actually the fact that they're behaving right now is amazing, but I have the doors locked behind the computer, and hopefully we don't hear the ramrodding of the two big guys coming through. But if they wake up and look at the birds, just know we will get the announcement. The birds are in the backyard. Just want you to know, be aware.
And the birds are evil. Let's face it. The birds are
Yeah,
evil.
or there are lizards doing push-ups, one or the other. But that's what happens in our house. So inevitably it happens when I get on a phone call with Rick and I'm like, sorry, dogs.
Yeah.
But that's what
That's
happens.
okay. We've done coaching calls with you, dropping Emma off and your son off and
Yeah,
all
your
good stuff.
dogs
So,
with the hugs and kisses, like life goes on, right?
right.
So
Zach
it is
Matak
what
and
it is.
Emmy. Oh, yeah. I got it. All
Yeah,
right.
you said
So,
Emma, but you did a good self-correct.
you like that thing? What's that?
You called her Emma at first, but then you said Emmy. It was a good
Em,
self-correct.
that's right. Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. All right. So, all right. We come to that time where I must ask you this, and that is okay, if I'm an agent and I'm trying to take my business to the next level or just maximize this existence called real estate, what would be the top 3 things you would tell them to focus on?
First of all, relationship cultivation. It's very easy. At least it's easy for me. The fact of the matter is that your phone is full of resources and referrals. That's the fact of the matter. There is another thing I think that you might teach it, but it's Ford. Family,
Occupation.
occupation, relationships, and desires, dreams,
Dream.
recreation and dreams. That's what it
Right.
is. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And if you can get on the phone and talk to anyone about any of those 4, 3 of those 4, or 2 of those 4, at some point someone will turn the conversation around on you and ask you how you're doing.
Right.
And then you get the opportunity to talk about what it is your dreams are, which is it might be to help X number of people this year, or your dreams are to move into a new home, but you need to work harder, faster, smarter, whatever it might be. But if you put it out there, it always comes back. That's
Mm,
number one.
I agree.
Number two is so talking about from the beginning, get civically involved because A, it feels good. And B, especially if you're cultivating your business, what do you have more of at the moment, at the very beginning? You have more time than you have money.
Right.
Donate your time because when you're donating your time with other people and you're meeting people outside of your sphere and you're making your sphere bigger.
Bigger.
And that's so important. So it's really how many people can you meet? You know, when I started in real estate, they utilized this 5 spinning plates.
Hmm.
Always have a spinning plate. I think that is dumb. I'm sorry. All the people that are like, oh, you can't focus exclusively on sphere or you can't focus exclusively on farming. I think focusing on too many things makes for fractured thinking. Just ask Nadine. She'll tell you.
I like
It's
it.
true. She'll tell you because she watches it with me that I'm here, there, and everywhere. And really, I think zeroing in and getting good at what you do. There's an agent in our office who is excellent at cold calling, amazing, and has a thriving top tier business on cold calling and making the magic happen. She's amazing. I envy her that, but that's not me. So
Right.
focus on something that is you and do that and do it well and go all the way. For me, like I said, getting involved civically minded is huge and I love it. It makes me feel good and I make great relationships. Who can beat that?
That's
And then
great.
I have to come up with a third thing.
So you've got, go ahead.
Third thing, be smart with your money. Don't spend it all. It's,
I love
the
it.
boiler room concept. If you're young, you probably don't know the movie Boiler Room, but it's available to you on Netflix or Prime. Watch the movie Boiler Room. They make the people go out, buy Rolexes and BMWs, so they're so strung out that they're hungry, 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 hungry. That's not how this business works. This business works from the heart. And so one of the reasons why I'm no longer in commercial real estate and I am in residential is because residential has heart.
Mm,
And so for me, that's what it's about. It's about helping people find their way home. And
right.
be it that they need to move from their house or be it that they need to buy a home and find their way home. That's so important to me that I provide them. Another great book is by Bill Walsh. He was the 49ers guy, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. He was the 49ers
Yep.
coach during their Super
Okay.
Bowl runs.
Believe it or not, I don't watch football and I'm not 100% certain that that's the guy, but now I am because Rick confirmed it. there's a book called The Score Takes Care of Itself, and it's
Yes.
hugely metaphorical. And what it's about is turning the 49ers from a cruddy team into a Super Bowl winning team based on doing the steps with excessive precision. And so if you do your steps with excessive precision and do it over and over and over again, you'll find success. It's impossible not to.
Yep.
And listen to it.
It's fun. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I just did a video this morning on that. The process guarantees the outcome. And that's basically what you just said. If you follow the process, get really good at the process, put your energy into the process, the results take care of themselves.
Right. And the fact of the matter is that if you're practicing real estate in a way that is, very regimented in one way or another, like I said, one person is great at cold calls, and that's very specific. For me, it's more relationships, so it's a little more fluid, but nonetheless, that's where I focus my energy. If you continue to do that, you will end up making relationships for me, or you will make transactions as for the other person, and the money will follow. It always does. But if you're focused on the money, you're going to miss those opportunities that are small that could lead into big. And I will tell you this, on the first sale I ever made, it was very cute. They did not know it was my first sale. And why didn't they know? Because they didn't ask.
Right.
So I wasn't.
And they normally don't.
Woo, you're my first sale. I'm so excited. But I'll never forget. And I've always kept this perspective. They said to me, we know we're not your biggest client, and we know we're not $1 million. So God bless, they thought I was $1 million producing agent when I haven't sold anything, which was lovely. I said, well, don't worry about it. You are $1 million client. They were $180,000. I said, you are $1 million client, because when you refer me some business and the next house, because prices are going up, is $250,000, now all of a sudden we're close to $500,000, and you sell this house and it's going to be worth more than that $180,000. So now we're going to get to what, $650,000, $700,000, and then someone else, all of a sudden you're $1 million client. Everybody is $1 million client, no matter where you start, even if it's a rental. So you just got to start at the beginning and be okay with taking that first step, or like Bill Walsh would say, be okay with 0 to 0 at kickoff. Because guess what? No one's winning the Super Bowl at minute 1 of the game. It's
right.
just not.
I love it. I love it. What a great message to end on too. Well, Nikki, but that's a great message. It's so true. It's so true. If you focus on the process and being perfect at what you're executing, the score takes care of itself. It's such a true statement too. And Walsh was a great coach. They won all those Super Bowls in the 80s and early 90s. So love it.
Yeah, that's actually one of my mottos that I stole from him, which is, it's the money takes care of itself.
The money takes care of itself. It's true too. All right, NikkiB. Well, I just want to say thank you very much for taking your time out today. This was completely awesome, and I'm sure a whole bunch of people got a bunch of nuggets. I really love what you talked about with your clients too. Everybody's $1 million client. If you treat them that way, you'll always have a successful business.
Yep, they are $1 million clients. So cheers to all the $1 million clients. Monday morning coffee on a Tuesday.
I love it. I was waiting for the plug. I was going to cue the plug, but I knew it was coming. Right, you are the queen of marketing, so good job. Thank you, NikkiB, for taking your time. I really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.